Hello and welcome, all friends and devotees of yoga and Buddhist research. I would like to conclude this chapter. I would like to conclude the discourse on this chapter. For those who are new, who might be watching these videos for the first time, our research here is following Master Ching Kong's discovery that Buddhism is not a religion. Buddhism is an institution just like university is today, and that the Buddha is not a god. The Buddha is like a professor. The Buddha means doctor, just like a Ph.D. or a professor. Simple. So the Buddha is like a Ph.D. or professor, and Buddhism is like university or higher institution. That was what it was 2,600 years ago. This was Grandmaster Ching Kong's discovery. And that is the prompt for this lecture and discussion forum. Those who might have some questions or comments, feel free to contact me. My email address is c.aburime@hotmail.com, or Color College, color spelled British, COLOURCOLLEGE, colorcollege@hotmail.com. So feel free to contact me. My objective at this point is to quickly conclude this lecture. Methods of practicing Buddhism. Let us proceed to methods of practicing Buddhism. Okay, because our time is limited. You know, these videos, that's why we've been having a lot of abrupt cuts. The time on the videos, each video has a limited amount of time. So it's not like a direct, class. We are not physically together, we're just together online. So I have to bring out the points fast. Methods of practicing Buddhism. The ways in practicing Buddhism are numerous. About 84,000. Each path is different from the others, but ultimately leads to the same goals: enlightenment, proper thoughts and viewpoints, and purity. As such, all paths are equal without one being superior to the other. People have different abilities and levels of accomplishment. Furthermore, they are from different environments and should choose a path most suited to them. We can choose any one of the three goals to concentrate our practice on. When we achieve any one of them, the other two will come naturally. There are 10 schools of practice in Chinese Buddhism. Zen, the Zen school of Buddhism, stresses the pursuit of the perfect clear mind or enlightenment. The Pure Land and Tibetan Buddhism, or Vajrayana school, stress obtaining the pure mind. Other schools concentrate on their practice on proper thoughts and viewpoints, as I was saying in the previous video. Regardless of which method or school one chooses, they all lead to the same outcome, the same upshot, the same result. In other words, once we become expert in one method, we will become an expert in all methods. The purity of the world comes from an individual's inner purity. With a pure mind, a mind without discrimination or attachment, a higher level of wisdom arises, in which the world around us naturally becomes very harmonious. It comes into harmony. By reciting the Buddha's name, meditating, concentrating, reciting sutras or mantras, and practicing in accordance with Buddha's teaching, one will attain enlightenment, proper thoughts and viewpoints, and purity of mind, thus becoming void of all deluded thoughts. On the other hand, one is totally on the wrong path if one chants Buddha's name in the hope of gaining a promotion or wealth. That's not the way to chant Buddha's name. That is religion and superstition. And it goes against the teaching of Shakyamuni, the Buddha, the initial professor, Gautama Siddhartha. How Buddhist terminology illustrates that Buddhism is an education. Buddhism is the teaching of Buddha Shakyamuni, or Professor Shakyamuni, as he was its founder. We call him the original teacher, original professor, original doctor of learning. Just like the Chinese call Confucius the greatest sage and teacher. The relationship between Buddha and ourselves is a teacher-student relationship, which is not religious in nature. In religion, there is not a teacher-student relationship, but that of father-son or master-servant. About 20 years ago, I gave a series of lectures in Furen Catholic University, Master Chin Kong says, and taught in the Thomas Monastery for 1 semester. I told my students, who were mainly priests and nuns, reverend fathers and reverend sisters, to take refuge in the Buddha and to learn Buddhism well. There is absolutely no conflict between Buddhism and religion, for one is teacher-student and the other father-sons. If the priests and nuns, reverend fathers, reverend sisters, etc., were to practice Buddhism and in turn abandon their own religion, I believe that even Buddha would not accept them. Buddha has not asked anybody to abandon his religion. If you are Catholic, remain Catholic. I'm Catholic, proud and Catholic, and yet I'm a Buddha. Okay, so if you are Christian, remain Christian, and then go to university, read your degrees and your doctorates. That's what it is. It's just an institution of learning. So Buddha will not accept them if they were to forsake their religious traditions. For it is against human ethics to discard the parent for the teacher. Therefore, religious followers will benefit if they practice Buddhism. As we practice, we will attain the true wisdom to know precisely what heaven is like, and we'll be able to decide when and how we want to get there, to go there. Thus, Buddhism is a way of teaching. As it teaches us, it instructs us how to regain our true wisdom. When a monk is called He Shang in Chinese, he is equivalent to the principal in today's school, for he is the director of educational strategies. All other faculty members are teachers who execute the principal's educational strategies and act as role models for the students' behavior and speech. My late teacher, Master Chin Kong, says, Professor Fang constantly assured me that Buddhism is an education. Later in my studies of the sutras, I reaffirmed his statement that Buddhism is the pinnacle of the world's wisdom. It provides the greatest enjoyment for humankind. I have experienced the unsurpassable joy of being free from afflictions, delusions, and wandering thoughts. Wandering and imaginary thoughts. No good. My body and mind are clean and pure, totally at ease, always. I am the happiest person in the world. Therefore, I feel indebted to Professor Fang. For without him, I would not have learned Buddhism, nor would I have such complete happiness derived from practicing Buddha's teaching. So folks, you have to work on this. Go through these videos again. As I said, I wish I could. I really had a lot of time to explain, but I don't, because it's a video and the times are limited. So try to go through it, play it again and again, listen, get the main points of it. If you have any questions, consult me through the email addresses I gave you at the beginning of the video. Thanks, folks, and have a pleasant Thursday. Enjoy the weekend that is coming. Namo Amitofo.